What up, y'all? I'm back with another review, and I'm here to review the newest studio album. Actually, no, the debut studio album from Jorja Smith entitled Lost and Found. Now, my introduction to Jorja Smith, I would say that it was on I Am from the Black Panther soundtrack, but that actually would be a lie. I thought that was my introduction to her. My introduction to her was back in, like, what, 2017 with the song Tyrant from Caliuchis, whose album, well, I recommended that album. I didn't get to it, like, reviewing it, because I wanted to like that album more than I did. Um, yeah, but we've had a slew of good releases from the females this year in 2018. Like, this album, I'm going to go ahead and say it, this album is one of those releases. Tinashe Joyride, Maya TKO, Kali Uchis, Isolation. Um, I feel like there's like one or two more that I'm just not getting. I'm just not um I'm just not um they're not coming to mind. Another one is also Janelle Monae's Dirty Computer. Uh, that's one of those albums where it's like Kali Uchis' Isolation. I want to like it more than I did. But also my introduction to Jorja Smith was Georgia Interlude and to Get It Together from the More Life playlist from Drake. It was a playlist. That's what he called it. Um, actually, I feel like there's more. Actually, let me check her out real quick. Um, yeah, yeah, that was my introduction to her. More Life, and then later on with Kali Uchis, which that song was on Isolation with Kali Uchis. I want to say. Okay, it was. Okay, so yeah. And this is her debut studio album, and this album is right there with me. The way I feel about Tinashe's Joyride, this is like right beside it. Like, this album is so cohesive. Everybody's really fucking with this, and I see why. 12 tracks, 46 minutes. Let's go ahead and get right into this. The first track, Lost and Found, the title track, I have to say, it sets the tone for the album, but it just paves the way for just how good this album's gonna be, because it's the perfect intro for this album. It just sounds amazing. The second track, Teenage Fantasy, I like this track, but it's probably my least favorite, even though she's really singing here, like, saying like, Teenage Fantasy, we want it, but we can't have it, but when we got it, we don't seem to want it. Like, she was just really singing it. She was vocalizing beautifully. Track number three, Where Did I Go, which is like one of the one of the singles to promote this album. Some of these singles were put out in 2016, and Teenage Fantasy was in June last year, 2017. Okay, all right. February 3rd is the only one that dropped this year, and that was in May of 2018. Okay, but yeah, I mean, Where Did I Go? I liked the music video. It was simple, but it just felt right for some reason. And she's just saying like where did I go? And here it was really smooth, like the beat, but it slowed down and picked up, like it became up tempo. But it was so like yeah, it was smooth, but it was at the same time it was up tempo. Um, Check number four, February 3rd. I don't even know if I really had any notes that I wrote down about that track. I don't actually. Um, it was a cool track as well. I'm not gonna lie, it took me going back to the first half to find myself having more to say about this album. It was really towards the end of the first and pretty much the whole second half where I really started to really fuck with this album. Track number five, with On Your Own. Where was I feel like this is the song where she had that quote. No, it's not that track. It's not. This isn't the song. But this album, I mean, this song was good too. Just saying like, yo, this time I'm done. You're on your own. Um, at least for tonight. I I just like this beat. Like this, I really fuck with this. Of course, I fuck with the vocals. Like, she's just amazing. Track number six, The One. Here she's just saying, oh, by the way, this actually took a full minute for this to really be pleasurable to my ears. I mean, I'm not saying that not constant, but just that kind of distant and not repetitive, but just repeating, kind of like a distant drum beat, like just comes in like boom, boom. That was cool, but it took the whole minute for the beat to actually pick up, and that's when I really started to mess with it. And she's just saying like there are people who become choosers, beggars, takers, and she's just saying she doesn't want to be that person. She doesn't want to be the one who is like that when she needs someone. That's exactly why she doesn't want to need someone in the first place. So it's like uh, that's kind of relatable. Not gonna lie. So yeah, track number 7, "Wandering Romance." This was this is one of my favorite tracks on this album. Like I downloaded this immediately, and she just saying like, "Yo, is this like, do you really love me, or is this just a wandering romance?" Like the vocals, like the layers on the vocals are just amazing. The beat itself is amazing. Like this whole song is just amazing. The next track, "Blue Lights." Man, this was so hip hop, and it wasn't even like just blatantly in your face like traditional hip hop, like something that you put on for an old head or somebody. Unless you got towards the end when she was when you incorporate the scratches and everything, the beat just sounds great, um, and not just the beat, but also the drums as well. The way she's flowing on this without actually really rapping, and for her to say, what was it at? She said, "This really is part two because you're the shook one." I was like, oh, did she really just say that? Like, this song is so damn good. She just saying like, yeah, when the blue lights, when the lights come on, when those lights come on, I think she said like what? When the red lights, are flashing or whatever, don't worry because they're not coming for you. If you're innocent, you have nothing to worry about. But when the blue lights start flashing, yeah, start worrying. Track number 9, Lifeboats Freestyle. Shout out to Tom Mish for producing this because, well, also writing some of it, but producing it as well. Tom Mish, my goodness. Earlier this year with his Geography album, man, shout out to Tom Mish. God dang. For producing and writing some of this, and just shout out to Jorja, of course, because on here this was actually some she was actually kind of rapping on here, not not like in your face, but yeah, she freestyled here, and it was a very social commentary she had. She was talking about the brackets and how the rich are staying afloat, which is weird. How does everybody else fall down or drown if you can stay? If we can all stay afloat, it's like that's something deep to say. Track number 10, Goodbyes. Um, I don't even think I wrote any notes for this. I will say this though, when I talk about how cohesive this album is, this is one of the examples I'm talking about. It's kind of like Tinashe did with that song, "No Good for You" or "No Good for Me," the interlude, and then she goes up in with "Stuck with Me." At least for the weekend, saying, "Yeah, you're no good for me, but you're stuck with me for the weekend." So that was very cohesive. So with this track, "Goodbyes," to say like, say your goodbyes now. The good times, and the memories are all up in there, all up there with the clouds and the stars. And then for the next track, oh wait, no, I did write something about this actually. Um, Here it is. And I wrote this quote when she said, "How could we know that there wouldn't be a tomorrow?" And then the next track is titled "Tomorrow," which she actually talked about saying goodbye and just having the track be entitled "Tomorrow." For her to say, "How do we know there's not going to be tomorrow?" Then the next track is "Tomorrow." It's like that itself is cohesive, and this beat is, I don't want to say swing jazz like what you'd hear in the 20s and 30s and all that, but it kind of reminds me of a swingish jazz bar vibe. It kind of reminds me of Alicia Keys, actually, which is great because The Diary of Alicia Keys is an album I grew up on. So yeah, and then the last track on here, number 12, which she performed. I need to watch that because this was amazing as well. Track number 12, Don't Watch Me Cry. She's saying, I'm crying because I can't escape what could have been. And it was just an amazing outro. Um, like, this isn't just one of the best R&B releases of the year. This is one of the best releases of the year, period. This whole album, it's whether it's the vocal performances, um, the layers on the vocals themselves, the production, just the lyrics, the consciousness, not just personally but socially. It's like she really did her thing here. If, I don't know if I think this album is better than Tinashe's Joyride. Uh, I'd probably just I don't even know if I'd say I'd probably rather listen to Joyride than this. I just have songs on Joyride that I fuck with more than on here, but at the same time I have tracks on here that I fuck with more than I have on Joyride. So I think this album's better. Some of my favorite tracks between Joyride and Jorja Smith, Lost and Found, I have more of them, at least some on Joyride. But at the same time, like I said, have some of my favorite tracks from both albums on here. So yeah, I'd have to give this album like, man, a 7.5 at least. I want to say like to an 8, but I don't know. I'm gonna give it at least a 7.5 because this, like I said, one of the best releases. Period. It's right up there for me as far as hip R&B albums of the year. It's like top two because I've only reviewed two R&B albums this year, at least from the females. But yeah, we've had a slew. We've had some really good, um, not just albums that I would mess with, but just really critically acclaimed albums this year in the R&B genre from the females, which is dope to see because there's a lot of dope music from the females, whether it's R&B, alternative R&B, hip hop, like it's there. So um, that's pretty much it, though. If you've heard this album, go ahead and let me know what you think about it in the comment section below and what you think about my review on it. Also, be sure to hit the like button if you like this review, share the review, subscribe to the channel if you're new and like the content that you see. And if you haven't heard this album, I definitely recommend that you check it out. I'll leave the link to stream it in the description below. And also check the description so you can see everything from my Twitter, all my social medias, my email address, my PlayStation Network account name, so we can get on there and just wreck shop on Call of Duty and other shit. I don't have Fortnite, so we can't really wreck shop on the Fortnite, but yeah. And yeah, that again, that is pretty much it. Fantastic album, great job, Jorja. Like wonderful debut album, and I can't wait to see what you do from here. And that's pretty much it. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will see y'all next time.